Um, the things you find out on a Sunday, specifically a Sunday afternoon, um, I'm kind of speechless. Um, I need to read this. Good God Almighty, sweet black baby Jesus. Well, that part aside, uh, I'm back with my cat again. um, so a part of this I feel a little bad about because, on the one hand, I said that I had deeply, deeply, deeply wanted to stream Spider-Man. And I still intend on doing it. I don't know if I'm going to return to Twitch to do it. I don't know if I am going to stay on here and do it. I do miss having people to raid out to. If I'm being completely 100% honest. But at the same time, for a lot of multitude of different reasons, I'm, I guess you could say I'm not the keenest on going back to Twitch, even though I'd like to. Cause, alright. So the thing about Twitch is that when I finally got like everything fully set up, like all the fun little stuff for firsts and things like that, hold on one second. Oh Lord. Um, if M or anybody comes into the stream chat, I just want to say I am so sorry. Um, just know I read what happened and I am sorry. That's all I'm gonna really say about that. But what I was saying was, on the one hand, like I said before, there was a lot of, I don't want to say work or anything. Um, there was a lot of, I guess, effort getting getting Twitch to where, or at least getting the channel where I wanted it to. Um, I'm at 120 folks following me, and I know a lot of them I ended up like removing their follow simply because I um I just wouldn't want them in my space for one reason or another. And still, I'm almost at like 120 people. And like again, I don't stream as often on there. I don't stream as often on here either. So for me, it's kind of like I would love to personally. Um, okay, cool. So that's one thing. Like on the one hand, I do want to go back, not necessarily because I was particularly comfortable, but just because now I have all this stuff set up that I haven't even like. No one's really had the ability to use because I haven't streamed in God knows how long over there. On the other hand, though, I'm still gonna be as inconsistent there as I am here. I had only got on because, partially because I wanted to talk, and partially because it's a break from the Okami brain rot that I've had. It's so much better of a game than I actually remember. And I feel like I've now made it to like um I've made it to a point where it feels familiar, but I've never made it past like that one moon cave puzzle from way back when. So oh my god. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I don't care about that. So nah, he can't just be sending me red alerts like that. And he can't be sending me red alerts like that and just my foot is shedding and it is very weird. Fine, I'll find it myself. I'll find it myself. You can't send news like that and then be while on your way to New York, you know you're not going to have any reception. Like, you know this. Let me see this. See, and I'm not getting anything newsworthy. I'm seeing. I guess I'm just gonna have to wait for him to send me whatever article he was looking. He found. Man, listen, you can't send me news like that and then all of a sudden um be in the train. Well, I guess I'll just wait, hopefully. Uh, Sorry about that. I was sent something about another anime getting a long awaited season 2 for the 10th anniversary, but I don't know if it's real news or not. And they're calling for it, the season, to start like August 2nd, which would be the Thursday. No, not Thursday. That would be Friday, because Thursday's the first. So, but I'm not gonna hold my breath for that one because it's been way too long. And even if it hadn't been way too long, I have no idea if that news, if the article he sends me is gonna be trustworthy or not. But yeah, Okami is much better than I initially remember. Um, I still have my copy for the Wii, and I never hooked it up to see how far I made it versus how far I've made it now. Um, the thing about, well, the difference between, again, playing it on the Wii and playing it on the PS4 are like night and day. Like, the concept and all the abilities and the stuff that you're able to do is really cool. The problem is just that, like, the Wiimote is kind of janky, and sometimes when you actually use like the celestial brush techniques for it, you'll end up doing the wrong one. So you end up using both the Wiimote and the nunchuck, but it's just kind of like awkward versus the left stick rotates. I mean, the left stick is what you use to draw everything, and then this one controls the camera, like usual, and then you just kind of draw, you put pen to paper using the square button and just move it with the left stick. I have had a magnificent time with this game. Um, the reason why it took me 10 years to finally like finish it is because there's this one specific part in the moon cave, and it requires you to move this heavy boulder across this invisible bridge in order to make it to the other side, to have it click a button. to open the door. However, one of the brush techniques you get basically gives you the power over wind. So if you create something like a direction like the wind is blowing, it'll reveal the hidden passage. Problem is, it's like playing billiards, it's like playing pool, and it is one of the most frustrating puzzles I've ever had to do. I have never felt so much frustration for something in my entire life. I was flabbergasted, and the Wiimote did not help anything. But with the PS4, I was able to properly, like, get the boulder within, like, I want to say 2-3 tries. I was able to get the boulder through, and I made it. I got the last thing that I needed to fight the boss. If you're in the GC, or if you're in any of the discords I happen to like that I happen to like be a part of, I posted a picture of Orochi. um it was a very, very, very excuse me, it was a very, 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 very like crazy ass process. um First, you have to get 3 of the 8 heads just drunk enough to where they will get dizzy. And then you have to do damage to the bell that um, puts down the barrier that's put up when you first start the fight. Once you've done that, the barrier lifts, and then after that, after you do that, you're able to get them drunk again, and then take out all 8 of the heads. And that's pretty much the end of the fight, because the next part is like this QTE with one of the other characters in the game. And after that, the fight's basically over. And like I said, like, fighting Oni is like the halfway point of the game. Like, I think each area that you take on has its own like boss for the most part. I feel like I've cleared out so many parts of Nippon, which is the area, pretty much the world that you're in. I've done so many of those that, like, at this particular point, I think most of Nippon is pretty good, but I'm not finished just yet. I saved the countryside, thankfully. Then after that, I saved the city, and now I am at a monster stronghold, essentially to take down an evil 9-tailed fox spirit. So that's where I am right now. I'm hoping the brain rot fades a little bit. I've already put a little over 24 hours into this game, because I've been on a roll and I really didn't want it to stop. So now, honestly, I might just like I might just legitimately go back to playing it after this stream just because I've been so locked in. And usually when when I'm on a roll like that, I don't want to stop going or else it's gonna kill my momentum. Um Sounds like a hyperfixation, I know. Um the other thing is just that, and this is kind of like what ties into oh no, I don't want the cat's whole ass to be showing up, so I'll leave it right there. But the other thing is just that like I've been tired. And I'm not gonna say that Okami is brainless. I have a brainless game that I can pick up and play at any point in time. It's Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. Um, I finished the game for the most part. Um, I beat one boss and then beat another boss. I mean, I beat Mayor Onion, um, and then I beat nuclear powered Mayor Onion. Um, for people who don't know Turnip Boy, it's gonna sound so strange, but I finished the game ultimately, and it is in fact a game that I can like turn my brain off and just enjoy the silly goofiness of it. Um, but I've been tired and dealing with a lot. Like, I think within the past like couple of days or weeks, I've had more mental breakdowns than really anybody could have in the span of a week or so. Um, my mom got really sick. Thankfully, she's better now. She's definitely better now. And then we got into it, and it was over money, and she was going over like the stuff that she wanted that she couldn't get because anytime we did, Michael and I, we told her to wait or just be patient or to give us time, but much like with our grandmother, her mother, if it's not done, when she wants it done and it's not what she wants, she just gets, you know, and then being a fall risk, she's talking about trying to get a job because she can't do all the, what have you, and it's like, it's okay if stuff of mine gets like eaten up or I have to push things back. It's fine, but the minute I say, hey, wait, or just have patience or whatever, oh, you made it, hi. You were just in the, you came in right as I'm, kind of just talking. Um, but yeah, everything's okay until I say, no, I can't do this. Or until I say, hey, I either can do it this way or I can't do it, you know? And I'm just so fed up, and part of the reason I don't look for, well, majority of the reason why I don't look for another job is because I know the trick in regards to looking for a different job. The thing about looking for another job is that most jobs now don't really post positions for hiring to actually hire people. Like, it's not in the service of trying to hire people. It's no matter how much they say that, like, they can replace you or what have you, they'd rather have you do majority of the work. They'd rather have you do that and try and keep you around while not paying you for the stuff that you do than moving you up, or they'd rather, or paying the money to train somebody to also help in regards to whatever job you're doing. They'd rather do it that way, because that way they don't have to spend all that amount of money. So, majority of why I don't look for a job as hard as I would like is because I know that any other job that I try to move to or try to get, I know that at any point, excuse me, I'd probably be getting paid less than what I am right now. Because it was always like that. Even when, I think the only one or two places that didn't do that were CVS, which I couldn't become a pharmacy tech for because I didn't feel like I had it in me, and Staples, which was a horrible job, and the people that were there, that I hated them, and it seems like they didn't really want me there anyway, so I just kind of left. Makes sense. Yeah, exactly. And even when I was there, I was at 9. When I went to Staples, I was getting 10. And then after that, there was this one women's clothing place I applied to that set up an interview with me, but they were only paying me like 8 something. And I was like, I didn't even know the minimum wage was like 11, 12 in the state where I live. So when that happened, I was just kind of like, why am I going to work a job where I'm only making $8 and some change an hour? Now, thankfully, when I went to work at GameStop, um, I went there and I was there for about a year, maybe a year and a couple of days. But I had only bumped up to like 9 when I should have been paid 12. And so, and then after that, and this is kind of another thing, I am not good at, alright, let me rephrase. I can't work a job where I have to meet a quota. I can't do that unless it is like a relatively big store. Like, for example, when I was working at Macy's at Short Hills Mall for the holiday, it was easy to make a level of quota in whatever department I was in. And I was usually able to do it with time to spare. And the reason for that was because it was a big mall, number one. And even outside of it being a big mall, during the holidays, everyone, and I mean everyone, was able to like shop and get their Christmas sales in and try and use their expired Black Friday coupons, stuff like that. So it was very easy to do that when I had the opportunity. Like it wasn't hard at all, but doing that at a GameStop in an area where people were only looking to sell games back versus trying to buy them outside of maybe like 2K, and I think Kingdom Hearts did pretty well. What else? Pokemon did pretty well. Red Dead Redemption 2, Spider-Man, um, just a lot of really big games like that. Like, those were usually pretty good. But, otherwise than that, like, if they weren't, like, super big titles that people were looking for, I would say the Mario games were another one. But if they weren't anything, like, in that realm of, like, AAA gaming, they wanted nothing to do with it. They were only there to, like, sell a couple of games to get a little bit of cash back. And I don't blame them. I used to do the same thing. That being said, however, um, when there's a certain amount of sales you have to meet, which comes and goes, and then after that, there's a certain amount of um, rewards cards that you have to sell, and then in putting insurance on it, which putting insurance is actually very, very easy. Having someone get insurance on like a game or like a system or an accessory, it's very easy. Because having the insurance means you could just come back and like get it replaced. Or like come back and pay the difference for something else. It's very easy. But having like rewards was quite possibly the dumbest thing. Because for the area that we were in, people just didn't buy them unless it was like the holiday season. And no one has space to buy like $30 for a year of benefits, which doesn't sound bad, but $30 a year or even a month, that's way too much. So, and then for what I was getting paid, it wasn't nearly enough. So I left, and then that July or August, I got the job that I was in now, which paid me the correct amount that matched the state's amount up until this point. So that's really why I haven't left, because I'm not going to um I'm not going to sit here and hold on. I'm also doing something at the moment, so I'm trying to see if I can reach it. I'll reply to this. Cool. So that's why I had just decided that I was going to stick with this for a while. But it's been about 5 years, and things have kind of changed. And I'm not entirely sure where I want to go from the point that I'm in right now. Um, I've been thinking a lot about it, but the more I've thought about it, the more I feel like I'm kind of stuck in a vortex where like I'd still have to be in retail for a very long time, and I wouldn't know where I'd branch out from there. Um, you guys might hear some tip tapping, so give me 1 second. Okay, so now that I'm done tapping that, um, I was going to go into coding for a while, but I ended up not so much giving up on that, but I ended up kind of pivoting because um, investing into what I would need to go for coding would be quite the journey. And I don't just mean for me finding like a boot camp or something like that. I mean mainly for me financially. So I've thought about that, but I decided to like bring my not bring my standards down, but bring my expectations down a little bit more. And I decided that I was going to try and go for IT support. I still want to. I just haven't had the energy at all. This year has been an absolute nightmare. It's why I haven't been on Twitch very often. It's why I have barely streamed even on here. It's kind of why I've just been talking so much, honestly. Um, I'm not going to lie. If I'm going to be honest, I've been thinking about a lot of things, um, and have been trying to tackle all of them at once, which I probably shouldn't do because all it's going to do ultimately is wear myself out even more than I really need to, and I can't really afford that. Um, there's been a lot of stress here too. Um, Here being at least what I call home, and I use air quotes for that because even though it's supposed to be home, it doesn't ever really feel like it, and it's just a draining feeling. Um, it sucks a lot, you know, and all I've kind of wanted is like just for things to kind of cool down and for there to be some kind of like turning point. Um, and I don't really know if that's gonna happen. Um, I'm off to work out. Be safe. Don't overdo it. Make sure you drink a lot of water. Um, Stay hydrated. Do what you can. Um, so yeah, like I'll be completely honest. Like if I were to probably stream tomorrow if I had the energy for it, which we all have to make kind of an early trip to Walmart to do a bit of shopping to get some more food in the house. But even if I were to do that, realistically speaking, um, I probably would be completely ghost like the first week of August, just because that first week was supposed to be something really important and special, and it didn't work out. And I kind of don't know if I want to be around while everyone else is kind of, I don't want to say celebrating, but while everyone else is kind of doing their thing. Um, because that's when the FOMO would kick in. Fear of missing out for anybody who is unfamiliar. And with that would come a lot more of the sad. And I would be glued to my bed, literally, um, with just nothing else to do. Um, I was supposed to go out that week too. I don't even know if that's going to happen based on current events, but there's nothing really I can do about that. It's really unavoidable. Um, I'm just ultimately tired. And that's why I haven't been on here. That's why, I mean, the Twitch situation goes far past anything that I'm talking about off stream and off camera. So, believe me when I tell you, like, I'm not too worried about that. But I don't know. I think me being tired has affected. It's funny because I said I was gonna be on here, and then I get on here and get immediately tired. I think I'm just gonna stop here. I've gotten all that I really wanted to say out. For anyone that watches the VOD, if you missed it, that's okay. I was gonna talk a little longer, but I don't have the energy to, honestly. Um, Ava, thank you for coming in. Like I said, don't overdo it. Um, oh, okay, so the other person was you. I was like, wait a minute, who is this one person here? But thank you so much. Like I said, I was gonna go a bit longer, but vocalizing everything, talking about it out loud is a lot more tiring than anything. Uh, I've just been zoning out, but had you on in the background. I appreciate it. I'm glad my voice could be a appropriate background noise. um, Putting it all out there. Yeah, and and this is one other thing I want to say because I mentioned this in I think Hermit's stream at one point, and I think one other person's stream, but um, I haven't talked. I don't know if it's been mentioned to Kev just yet, but I broke the news to Pity, and they were like, "Hey, listen, like, we're going to be doing the marquee next year, definitely. So I will like immediately put you into plans for next year." And in my own head, I'm just like, I don't even know if I'm gonna make it through this year anymore because so much is going on. I didn't say that to them, obviously, but I did. Like, it was what I was thinking. And um, they were showing off the cosplay that they're sewing together, which they're trying to get done before the first. So there's about 10 days left before they finally get everything together. Um, and I mean this with true sincerity, because half my friends are cosplayers. I just want to say, the lot of you guys are insane. I've had people like make it to the hotel and finish everything in like a 4 to 8 hour sprint, running on nothing but like Monster, a small snack that they got from a place before we got there, and a dream. And I'm just like, I need to know how you guys do it. Because I've I don't have that in me. I don't. Like, would I love the cosplay at one point? Sure. But that is insane. And they brought it up, and Pity once again mentioned it, and I think Kev was 100% on board for next year. Um, and I cried a bit. I have probably cried more times in this month than I have in the past couple of years, just out of how overwhelming and how trapped and powerless I've felt over the last like couple of weeks. Um, it's been a lot, and I hope that everything works out pretty well. Um, I have no idea how, I mean, even having funds for the hotel for next year, if I decide that I was going to go, even then, I would have to like look at how I'd be traveling and who I'd be traveling with. Because I'm not really someone that like tries to travel alone if I can help it. I know that sounds weird, especially from a 30 going on 31-year-old man. And it's not necessarily because I'm black, although I am very cautious because I'm black traveling alone. Very cautious about that. Um, it's more so just because to me, the con or part of it has always been traveling together with a group. Now, I don't have a car, and I don't know if I'll ever have a car because everything is just way too expensive. So, I don't know if there'll ever be a point where I get a car. So, there is that. But, hold on one second. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I had to listen to a message a friend just sent me. But yeah, that's always kind of been a part of the con experience. Just kind of traveling with friends, messing around, stuff like that. And with how things have been over this last year or so, that I usually travel and room with, if I were to actually like leave, like not leave, but if I were to actually like travel with them but not go to the hotel with them, I would be perfectly okay with that because I could just meet them inside the convention if anything. I wouldn't always be around them, and I'm alright with that. So if that were the case, that'd be fine. But I don't know. I'm hoping that if things line up, maybe somehow I'm very glad. I'm very glad that worked out because I was scared for you. Because that could have gotten very ugly. I'm really glad that that worked out. Um, oh, it's fascinating getting. It wiped out my energy today, but I'm glad. I think I think that instinctually you just kind of did it because it was like, hey, that seems like something worth remembering. Maybe I should like capture this just to make sure everything's all good. You know, in case I need it. I don't think I think they weren't upset because they knew that you weren't going to do something like that. But I also understand how that level of panic just like drains the energy right out of you. It is by far the worst. Yeah, exactly. I know I didn't do it maliciously, but I understand it freaking other people out. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not going to lie, and this is kind of, this is something I've never mentioned to the group chat before. Initially, I was going to get screenshots of the events that had happened um, months ago, but I was so afraid that Discord showed possibly that you took a screenshot of something. I was so afraid of that that I was like, there's no way, because if I unblock them and I sit and I like am taking screenshots here and it shows that, it's just gonna make everything worse. It should. Oh my god. This hermit out of nowhere. Um but I was terrified, and so I was like, okay, let me not touch a single thing. And yeah, I usually have a decent amount of knowledge about what platforms might show and which doesn't. But I was so head empty. Wait a minute, let me turn this down. I was so head empty surprised today. I've been here for 5 minutes trying to figure out why my audio was fucked up. Why is everybody's stream equipment going wrong? Maddie was having issues. I think it was with OBS. Hermit's been fighting between OBS and her stream bit rates for the past like couple of months. Like, I think the tech issues go back to like what, maybe March, April? I think. Like, good lord, like what's been going on? You know, I actually had a scare a couple of weeks ago because of the heat. So for those that don't know, I ended up having to buy a new phone because the phone I bought last year did not last very long, and unfortunately it was on its last legs. So I ended up going to buy a new phone, and it was working great. One of the Boost Mobile representatives had showed how to go into developer mode and kind of cut some things in order to save data so not everything's struggling to run. And my phone and like a lot of my videos and like stuff like that, they run a lot faster. And I was perfectly fine with it. But then while I'm at work, my phone does the same thing where it just shorts out. Now, thankfully, it hasn't done it since, because I cannot afford another phone right now. So, my phone kept, like, shutting off on its own. Full battery and everything. Shutting off on its own. I'm having trouble turning the thing back on. And then finally, like, when it started to cool down, my phone was like, alright, well, it's not so hot. Technology can work again. So, I don't know what's been going on. Yeah, at this point, I'm just waiting for a new ISP to come to my area so I can switch. I mean, to be completely honest with you, it seems like the last oh, never mind. I was thinking of the technician you had come to your house, because I was gonna say it seems like the last person um that came to check things out wasn't the biggest help. Out of curiosity, what provider do you have? Out of curiosity, because I want to make a note. According to one of my close friends, I was put on their emailing list, and they said that they were sent like a whole new company. We have Midco right now. Technically, Blue Peaks is in the area, but they don't service our address. Oh, okay. I've never even heard of Midco. But damn, that fucking sucks. Like, is Blue Peak the only other one that's, like, in the area? Like, is there another one outside of those two that, like, could service your address so you can finally get some form of relief from this shit? Excuse me. But yeah, about I guess the flats, the affordable housing. So it looks like towards the end of this month, they're going to be emailing applications and trying to like get things sorted out. So they told me to be on the lookout. I told them there is a high possibility I wouldn't even be able to afford to move because the place is in Verona. And even if it wasn't in Verona, moving in and of itself is still like a task. And I won't lie, half of this stuff probably wouldn't even go with us if I did move. Like, if I were to move and I brought my brother with me, half of this stuff would not come with us. Half of this stuff would be put out. Outside of, like, a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna fill out whatever application they send towards the end of the month. I just sent an email to this rental assistance program to see if I can get any answers on the questions that I had asked. So hopefully I hear from them sometime later this week. But I emailed it, so it's out there. I have been so tired. There was one other call that I was supposed to make this weekend when I got the information. I did not make that call because I was just way too tired. I'm going to. I just need to gather the energy to make said phone call. But yeah, God, this year has been. This year has been. I I don't know how to describe how this year has been within the past like months. I feel like everything that can and could go wrong in many different ways has, and it's all been speeding at everyone in their own different ways at like Mach 10. And man, it's just been a mess. We're closing in on only 4 more months of this year left, and man, I don't know. The only the only good thing is like there's an event I'm still probably gonna go to in September simply because if I were to cancel that, I think I. Yeah, I know. I know. Um, but yeah, I'll probably go to that one in September, probably because if I had to cancel that one too, like I did the one that's in like less than 2 weeks, I think I'd go clinically insane. Just because of everything that I've had to deal with within the past like couple of months. Um, the only other sad thing is that due to how do I phrase this? Due to a I'm gonna use big air quotes. Due to a disdain of pagan holidays. Um, I don't really care too much about Thanksgiving, honestly. But Christmas is just not a thing. Christmas wasn't a thing last year. Christmas is not going to be one this year. Not because my brother and I don't want it to be, but the other party in our house um, is so much more worried about not going to hell that even when we surprised her last Christmas, she just flat out refused. Um, a couple of months later. Um, and it's always kind of sad because I pass by a couple of areas on my way to work. Some of them have really, really nice Christmas decorations. Well, they did until recently when I found out some of those houses had a flag supporting genocide, and yeah, I don't fuck with that. So I don't care how pretty their decorations are, but it kind of just like kind of saddens me a little bit because having worked enough retail, you know that a lot of the holidays have become commercial. It's not really about the holiday itself or what it's supposed to represent. It's all about um, what you get someone or how much you get someone, stuff like that. And to know that I'm still in this space where something that we had been celebrating for a good number of years, you know, not even so much putting the tree up because we don't have space for that, but something we had been essentially celebrating for years, to now know that that's gone, it sucks. And it hurts a lot. And that's another part of why I would probably want to get out of here as much as possible, despite the money I don't have right now. Simply because I don't want to live that way, if that makes any sense. I don't want to suffer. And also, there is a high possibility that I would go no contact if I left here. I'm not going to sit here and lie to any of you. Um, if my brother were to come with me and we split costs on certain things and we worked out how we'd get food and things like that, that would be perfectly fine. And if she calls him, so be it. But for me, if they were to come to me about anything, or if my brother were to bring the phone to me, I would tell them, hey, I'm not here. I'm not here. I don't want anything to do with it. As long as she's okay, I don't want to be bothered. Okay? I left there and I haven't called you and I haven't messaged you and I haven't done any of that for a reason. Now, whether or not she'd figure out that reason, I mean, hey, that's... But that would be what it is. And then the only one thing that I know that I would do for her is get the money to finally not only take care of life insurance things, but also to help her get some stuff done. That stuff has more to do with her health and nothing materialistic, because she does have copays. I would help with that if need be, but otherwise than that, I'm not calling. I'm not voice calling. I'm not Googling anything. I'm not doing it. You know, as far as I'm concerned, the rest you have to figure out. So, but yeah, so a little bit towards the end of this year is gonna really hurt, only because I know like the holiday season will kind of be like in full swing after a certain point. And so I'll be okay when I'm not like out of the house and I'm not like, I mean, not when I'm not out of the house, when I'm out of the house and I'm doing other things, whatever those other things may be. But to come home and know that there's there's none of that feeling that you get from that season. It's gonna feel so heavy. And I hate it so much. I'm sorry I've gone on this like ramble about how I've been feeling for like the last couple of months, or rather the whole 2/3 of this year. Um, I meant I want to look at something. Did you just summon the jar? Oh, okay. Um, January 12th is my affiliate anniversary. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what I do for it. Not the jar. It looks like a trash can. I know my holiday feelings / trauma are different than yours, but I want to let you know that you do have friends who go through that kind of end of the year sadness, sourness, and I'll be here for you then. And I appreciate it because, like, even last year, I think Hermit was the one that did the holiday stream, and I don't remember what was going on. I don't remember if it was like Mario Kart or something. It was something. It was something. I remember that. And it was like a really fun time. And it kind of took my mind off of certain things. You know what I mean? I think the one other thing is that I know somehow, some way, like, she's gonna figure out or find something. See, and that was fun. Just like playing hide and seek in Among Us with like the fucking Toll crewmates. Thanksgiving definitely, for Thanksgiving definitely, and maybe Christmas. See, that would be cool. Honestly, I don't remember the history of Thanksgiving. I used to know the history of Thanksgiving. Um, but I feel like as long as I stream, that's gonna be tradition, I think. You know, and praise be unto you. You know, um, but I think that's kind of another reason why I want to like get out of here so bad, because I know that like even for all right, um for Mother's Day and for her birthday, I understand like how important it is for like to get her something, even if it's something small. I don't mind that. I never mind that. But it's like for me, and I felt this way last year, but I ended up caving anyway. But I felt this way last year. For me, I was kind of like, well, if you aren't gonna celebrate Christmas, why do we have to get you anything? And I know that sounds really messed up and that sounds really cold-hearted, but like it doesn't make sense. Why would you still want something for a season that you don't even really celebrate at that point? At that point, like, if you know how commercial it is and you know how, again, um pagan it is, and you don't celebrate it, then why would you want anything for it in regards to the gift giving portion of it? Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. It was just weird, And I've talked to my brother about it, and I was like, listen, the way I see it, if it's like that, that saves me a bit of money because anything that she would get, it would be for Mother's Day and it would be for her birthday. And that's just being needy at that, greedy at that point. No, you're correct. And I was like, well, at that point, I'll just get a gift for my brother. Hopefully, I can. And then maybe get myself a little something and send out cards, and that'll be it. I need to buy a new box of Christmas cards. I didn't think about that until now. And I know it's July, but I do need to do it. Like, I need to buy a new box of cards. I'm gonna get on that later this year. Getting a new box of Christmas cards and envelopes. But yeah, I told them and he completely agreed. So, you know, I was saying earlier that listen, it's July. That means Christmas stuff's gonna be in stores by September. You're not wrong. I'm probably going to see Christmas cards before I see any Halloween candy. You aren't wrong. Cause I'm pretty sure that like it's gonna be whatever's left of the July stuff, which is probably gonna be or whatever's left of the summer stuff in one area. Then they're going to be restocking the school supplies, and then they're probably not going to do Halloween candy until like maybe in the month of October. But all the Christmas stuff will be out by September. So that makes that which is insane. I never really understood why they always put Christmas stuff out so fast. Like, I kind of get it, but like, also why? So you're essentially gonna let that stuff sit for 3 months. Capitalism. Well, you're right. That is the answer. But like, essentially, you're gonna let that stuff sit because it's the one thing that saves retailers every year. The crazy. So they need to cash in as early as they can and as long as they can. The crazy part is you are not wrong. But I never thought of it that way. Because, like, most retail stores and branches, like, half of them close down and file for bankruptcy before the holiday even gets here. So, damn. No wonder. I mean, that also explains Black Friday too, although I know the real meaning behind Black Friday, and it's why I choose Cyber Monday over Black Friday. Or they close in January, February, March because the previous year's holiday sales didn't save them. That's also true. But yeah, so I think what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to try to do, if and when I finally move out of here, and if and when I'm able to get a better job, I don't know what that job is going to be. Um, and I don't know if I can really turn anything that I'd want to do back into a job, or attempt to turn it into a job. Uh, because I don't think I have I'm not going to say that, but I don't know if I could manage it. Like, I'm good at, like, making things. And by making things, I mean, like, writing and putting ideas together in a way. But I am terrible at promoting myself. Absolutely garbage. Like, like, and this isn't to self-deprecate, but literally, I've had times when I was streaming on YouTube and people were following me, but I always forgot. Never turn a business into a hobby, into a business. Yeah, exactly. But I would forget. And then friends would come in and they'd be like, "Hey, how come you didn't tell us how come you didn't tell us you were streaming?" And I was like, I always thought that, like, with YouTube, you get the notifications all the time. And at first I was like, okay. But then I realized I wasn't getting notifications from people that I watch on YouTube, and I was like, oh. So if I'm not getting notifications from these people, the people that have asked me how come I didn't do this probably haven't been getting notifications from YouTube. Because YouTube, Discord, and Twitch are all the same, let's be homophobic and not show them their friends type beat. Look, I could go on a whole YouTube notification diatribe. That would be fantastic, because I never claimed to be a pro streamer, so I have no idea the notification hell that has been going on. But it seems like YouTube, Twitch, and Discord are all that holy trinity of let's just ruin people's day. But at one point I write a lot of stuff for ideas for wrestling content. First rule of content creation: never ever assume a platform is going to do what they say they will do, especially with notives. Yeah, I've been getting this one specific ad notification for something called Tango. That's kind of and it's weird because it's promoted by, like, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. In the ad, it's promoted by this one girl who's, like, in an area that's, like, in the snow, and she has this really, like, kind of cute outfit on, and she has gloves and a snow hat, or, like, a little beanie on, and they were promoting it, and I was like, what makes this any different than Twitch? You know? But that aside, So when I would show friends of mine like wrestling ideas that I would have, at first I didn't want to put them out there because I didn't think they were all that good. Then I was encouraged to like kind of write a wrestling blog about it, and I started it on Tumblr, and I was actually getting really good like traction. Like some people would DM me and they'd have requests of stuff that they'd want to see, or like what they'd want me to write about next, and like how I'd write a story for this person, things like that. Um, but I won't sit here and lie to you. The Tumblr thing went downhill because it was my fault. Oh no! Oh no! Herbie, do you have a plan B so you don't have to give them up? I would hate for you to have to part with your son. If you have a plan B, enact plan B, please. But the reason why the first time I rewrote my can you make him a sibling? There's that. No, it's fine. He'll be happy in his new home. I'm not gonna go back on what I promised. Aww. I'm sad. But so the reason why my first Tumblr blog failed was because I'm gonna just be honest, like every other Tumblr blog back then, it got very horny. And it kind of like, well, that's not the reason. It was like that reason was like 10%. But the real reason was that it had turned from a wrestling one to more of a venting one. And because I was in such like a bad state at the time, because I couldn't find a steady job and I wasn't making money and my mom wasn't working and stuff like that. Um, and it had just kind of become my place to, can I? Sure, I need to buy more yarn, whether I will or not, is a whole other ADHD motivation issue. Oh. Yeah, that'll do it. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, so what I ended up doing was I took a step back from Tumblr. I was gone for about 9 months, and I said, you know what? Let me try again. I'm gonna delete my Tumblr account. I'm gonna start it from scratch, and I'm going to do a whole nother one and see what happens. And the next time I did, I pretty much did the same thing I did before. Just kind of putting ideas down. I would like certain posts because those posts would give me some inspiration. They would usually be I wanted to see that I would be like, hey, what if I put them in this role? But it wasn't the same. And I had even been suggested like different writing blogs and stuff like that. But I feel like it never went anywhere. And at that point, I was kind of like, I keep draining my energy trying to do this. And it makes me not want to do this because I can't turn this into something. And I feel like that's kind of what's happened. Where anything that I wanted to pick up, um, I did it because I love doing it, but I also always felt bad because I couldn't turn it into something that would like help me in the grand scheme of things. It's like I don't really know how to explain it. It's like I couldn't incorporate it into grind culture. There you go. I couldn't turn it into like a side hustle. And it's funny because I didn't even turn this streaming on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. I didn't even do this in regards to me trying to make it a side hustle or a job because I've heard how unstable side hustle culture has ruined our generation. Your friend here to remind you, you actually need hobbies and joy. You need it to exist, and that is keeping you alive. Um, Also, going to remind you, capitalism and poverty forces us to try and monetize everything. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And at first, like, when I couldn't do it, I felt like I wasn't working hard enough because there was always something. There was so much that I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to travel, I wanted to go to conventions without worrying about canceling, and I wanted to maybe not go to concerts, but I wanted to like be able to go and do things, either for myself or go with friends and just hang out and whatever. But there was always something, and that something required money. And because I wasn't making enough of it, I wasn't grinding hard enough, I wasn't hustling hard enough. And I think that's part of what didn't help me over the last like couple of months or so. I wasn't doing everything I could, and on top of that, um, there was a lot of stuff out of my control. Like my hours, I don't have control over my work hours. I have to go by what they give me. Um, could they have given me like a higher spot on the totem pole? Sure. But even then, like, I couldn't control, I still can't control what happens with ours. Uh, Give me 1 second. I mean, again, you're not wrong. I am in fact incredibly burned out. I'm burned out from everything going on here at home. I'm burned out because I feel like I'm not doing enough, especially at work. Which is kind of crazy because I do a lot at work within the small amounts of time I'm given. Um, but it always feels like it's just not enough. And trying to work with what I have, it always kills me because it's like damn, like and it's bad enough. I hate like asking for asking for help most of the time. The only real time is when like I'm talking to my therapist, but otherwise than that, I'm at this I'm at this kind of point where for years when I've wanted to do something, I've always had to kind of ask for help about it. And I'm to the point where I'm so tired of doing that, but I'm also so burnt out and tired. And I will say the grind is not for everybody. Um, Myself included. The grind is not for everybody. Um, and I think the people who are committed to it have this deep rooted passion or motivation. And I think in this burnout, I have lost all of that. Um, I have little spurts of like inspiration or motivation to do some things to like jot them down. Like the only reason that I haven't taken a break from Okami is because it's been the one thing where my mind is like, yo, you haven't made it this far before. You need to keep going. And not in a sense, not in a negative sense, but just like you're so excited to see what's next, to see what's coming up next, that um you just have to keep going. Like like I said before, I'm probably gonna run to the store a little after this, grab a thing or two for stuff for dinner, and then come back and jump back onto Okami just so I can see. I put like over 24 hours into that game already. So I think I got it on Wednesday. Yeah, I think I bought it on Wednesday or Thursday. It's Sunday now. So I've been playing it like non-stop, and I love everything about it. And like I said, Spider-Man is still there. I'm still gonna play it, but right now I'm so locked in on um, playing Okami. So Spider-Man's gonna be to the side for now. Um, but otherwise than that, like I've and I feel terrible about it. Like I've had no motivation to do anything. I've had no drive or passion. And before the group of friends that I have now. I'm not talking to anyone in the chat right now, but before, I couldn't really talk about that simply because it would just come off as if I was being lazy. It would come off as if I wasn't trying as hard as I possibly could. And I wouldn't want to carry that shame with me while at work or while going to work or while coming home from work, because then all my mind is going to go into is what more can I be doing to like do better for myself. And it has been an absolute nightmare, to say the least. You know, like eventually I do want to leave this job, but there are certain places that like I was suggested I wouldn't go to. Amazon was one of them. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'd probably only do Amazon for like maybe a good couple of weeks, get whatever money they give me, and then I'd quit because it's not worth it. I know motherfucking Jeff Bezos is not that guy. So yeah, I'm not doing that. The airport would have been one thing, but like to get from where I live to the airport and back, even if I didn't like take an Uber and I decided I was gonna bus it, that would take way too long. Way too long. And it would also cost extra money because the bus fare has gone up. So, and then the airport also has high turnover rates. Like, oh, welcome back. Oh, give me 1 second. Let me just, my little brother has been working at an Amazon warehouse for a couple of years. He was going to leave to do something else, but the pay is too good. And that's the one thing about Amazon. Like, I used to work something akin to a warehouse. It was one of the arenas around in the state that I live in. I used to work there. The problem was that when I did start working there, I had really bad back pains after a while. And at one point, I had to get up on a Sunday to go to a shift. The pain in my back was so bad, I could not leave bed for like a good hour and some change. And and the bad part is, I couldn't even go to the doctor because I didn't have insurance at the time. So I don't know if I could personally do Amazon, and even if I could, I just don't think it's the way for me. And all respect to your brother, because I do get it. The pay is fantastic from what I've seen, but it's not worth what what I feel like I'd have to really put my body through. And the other thing is, I would love to invest in like something where I could work remote, but I don't even really know how many places are actually still doing that now. More so on an entry level. So I don't know. And I'm always like racking my brain about it. Yeah, I truly don't think warehouse jobs are built for life after a certain age. Yeah, exactly. Um, they're out there. I can look at resources. I definitely know you can because you are, and I mean this with all due respect, you are in fact a research autistic. So I'm pretty sure that like if you dug them up or dug deep enough, I definitely believe you'd find them. But uh, but I also just want a break. Maybe I should move to Texas. I'm not gonna lie to you. All I would want you out of there anyway, just away from your figure. I know they're probably less common than what they used to be, but there are some remote job specific websites. Um, I would only humbly ask for like one or two websites, and you can DM them to me, and I can look from there. Um, but honestly, even then, like I'll definitely look into the sites, but I just want a break, cause it feels like how do I put it? Going back to the burnout thing, it's felt like I've been just constantly going and going and going and going and going. It's like I've been the Energizer Bunny for the last like couple of years of my life, trying to keep the momentum going, or if I stumble, trying to build that momentum back. And after so much falls out of your control where there's really nothing you can do, it's God, it's terrible. And if I were the Energizer Bunny, I would probably just barely be like banging on that little drum that he does. Like I'd be doing just enough so that you hear the little tap, but I'd be completely tapped out. Like if I were able, and I hate how this sounds, if I were able to make enough money within like the next year or so, I'd take my Switch, I'd take my phone, I'd take some clothes, and the pillow for my back. Oh, and my headphones. I would. I don't even really know where I'd go. But I would just go somewhere and exist alone for for a week or so. Like if I could, Jersey City is a nice enough place. Not Atlantic City because I don't gamble, but Jersey City is a nice enough place. I would go there. I would go to this one hotel my friends and I usually go to because I believe they have breakfast there, and if not, it's whatever. Um, it'd be right across the street from the mall, and I would go there. I would sit in the Dunkin'. I'd eat, and then whatever it is I decide to do. Because there isn't really too much in a mall. I'm not a mall rat like that. I personally hate malls. Like I I don't have a high affinity for malls. I'm not that guy. I think half of them are too crowded. A good portion of them have rude ass people I don't feel like dealing with. Even if I were to go into a clothing store to browse, half of their stuff either wouldn't be in my size, or if it would be in my size, I, don't make your dreams surround a place you hate. No, the thing about the mall I'm talking about though is there are two things that don't make it as bad. The first thing is there are these two specific toy stores. One of them sells a lot of old vintage video games. I'm talking like, I can't believe I'm about to say this is vintage. PS2, PS1, Game Boy Advance. They sell older Yu-Gi-Oh card sets, newer Yu-Gi-Oh card sets, Pokemon card sets. They even have old baseball cards. I'm not a baseball card guy, but they sell them. And then this other toy store that has like, I think on one corner they have Sanrio stuff, and then they have like Nerf guns, which obviously I would not get because I'm black. Uh, that was terrible. But, um, I know you're kidding. Um, and then there's this one in that same toy store. There's they also had Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars, either in solo packs or in a packs of five. I don't know if they still have the packs of five. I'm not sure. I haven't seen them, but they do exist. Um, I'm trying to collect photo cards. I know that feeling. Then eventually anime figurines. There will be no anime figurines until I have my own space. Because the last thing I need is for my mom to walk in and see a bunch of figures of like big titty waifus. That's the last thing I need. But this other store also has not only just the Hot Wheels, they have the big tracks that you can build and like have the cars launch off of, and I don't know, hit a fucking wall or something. I only had one of those growing up, so I'd love to get another one. And the other thing about this mall is their food court. So I'm very cautious about Panera because their charged lemonades, I think, actually almost gave me heart palpitations. Um, in other words, I almost sent myself to the shadow realm by accident. Um, there was this specific, it was me and three other friends of mine, um, that wanted to go out for my birthday. There's a picture. Aww. Jay, I love you, and thank you for popping by. I appreciate you. But, we went out, and I have a picture of my friends and I, maybe I will send that to the group chat at some point. But we had went to Panera to go and eat. And I think we went to go and do something else, but I don't remember what. But we went to Panera to go to eat, and I had paid for one of their charged lemonades. I didn't realize how much caffeine was in the charged lemonade, but I do know there was this specific one. I don't remember if it was the blood orange one or if it was a different one. But it was a really, 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 really good lemonade. And I drank it, and apparently they don't have limits on your refills. So I kept getting refills of it. And as we were walking, like kind of going to, they went to Claire's, so me and my other friend just stayed behind and we were talking. And I feel I'm pretty sure Panera got sued for those. This was before they got sued. But I felt my whole body twinge in a way I've never felt it before. And like, I'm having a conversation going as normal and my eye is twitching and I'm like, there might be something horribly wrong. Thankfully, I make it back home. I consume a horribly scary amount of water when I get home. I took like half a case of Poland Spring. This is a 40 case. And this was before my hydro flask. I took that whole half a case and I drank every single bottle one by one. And then after that, I find out that Panera got sued for one of those. And I was like, oh, well, can't have one of those anymore because that's pretty bad. But, Panera story aside, the other thing about this specific mall that makes me not hate it as much, Shake Shack is there. I love Shake Shack. There's this little pizzeria there that has some bomb mozzarella sticks. And their pizza's pretty good too, although I've only had cheese. Extra cheese. But their mozzarella sticks and their marinara sauce are really good. The marinara sauce is not like, how do I put this? If you understand, like, well, not understand. If you get the texture situation, you'll understand what I mean by this. The marinara sauce was good, but it was also thick. So it didn't make the stick like really, really soupy. Like it wasn't soupy. So along with how good it actually tastes, I wasn't afraid of it dripping all over the place because it wasn't too soupy. And that also was just a pleasure to have. So there's that. There's the Shake Shack. There's a Chipotle in there. There's a Popeyes in there. There's also a Chick-fil-A in there, but I'm never gonna eat in Chick-fil-A, to be perfectly honest. All my friends and my brother, whenever they see a Chick-fil-A or they see a Chick-fil-A commercial, they boo hiss at it very hard, and it's always funny. But yeah, even if there were Chick-fil-A's immediately in my area, I wouldn't eat from there. Not just because of the obvious reasons. I just don't think their chicken is all that much to be hyped about. I've never had it, but no. I'd rather just go to a halal spot. There's also a hibachi place in the mall I'm talking about, which is always great. So, to go back to Emma's point, I hate the mall, but that mall is one I can tolerate. There's another mall that's like also in where I live. That mall I actually despise because there are kids everywhere. And to the mother in the room, I'm sorry I sound so hostile talking about kids, but there's so many. And I'm just like, why? I can't do this. I need some level of peace or I'm going to go clinically insane. Thankfully, um, when it comes down to the mall that I would be across from, there aren't that many children there. Thankfully. Um, it's also in the middle of a business district. So you do have some people casually that go there, but also you rarely see any kids except when school's out. And if I were to go, yeah, I'd see a couple of them here and there, but they pretty much mind their business. But the point is, if I were making enough money, I would be gone for like a week, maybe two. The only time I'd actually show up was if like the group chats were active, in which case I would message you guys and let y'all know that I am still alive and I still exist. But otherwise than that, I would answer no phone calls, I would answer no text messages, I would be taking no requests, you know. And I'm hoping that that one day comes where I can just be like, you know what? I'm going away for a couple of days. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't smoke signal or carrier pigeon me. Just let me be. Um, so I hope maybe one day that can happen because I've the alternative of just trying to keep my gears going for as long as I possibly can. It is it is literally driven me off the deep end. And yeah. The store is going to close before I know it if I keep talking. And I need to still get some stuff for dinner. So I'm going to end right here, for real this time. Um, I still do plan on streaming Spider-Man, I promise. I just don't know when I'm gonna do it. And I don't know where. I was thinking of doing maybe one or two more Twitch streams before eventually doing the rebranding. The rebranding is still very much on my mind, but I've just been so tired and so stressed and so drained. I've barely had enough energy to like do anything, let alone work on like a renaming and letting people know and stuff like that. I just haven't had it in me. But it is in the back of my mind, and maybe I'll go back and stream Spider-Man for a little while. It's not like it's that it's not like it's that long, like the baguette. But I'll do that, and then I'll figure something out. Um, I also kind of wanted to stream the weekend of my birthday next month, but we'll see. We'll see how I feel about it, cause um, the 1st of August is going to suck, but at least once I'm past the first like week of August, um, past missing Otakon, at least by then I'll feel somewhat better. But overall, I don't know. So, thank y'all for listening to me go on and on and on. Um, just going over literally everything. Um, Jay, I'm glad you can pop by when you did. Um, M, if you can hear me, if you do find any of the links, like I said, just maximum of like 1 or 2. Well, maximum 2. You can DM them to me on Discord, and I'll do the rest from there. Once I've built up the energy to do so. Um, thank you. I love you guys. I mean that a lot. You guys. You guys get me through more than you understand. That's as much as I can say. Um, at least for right now. And if there's one thing I'm thankful for, it's all of you guys just being there and listening to me ramble and go on and on and on. So, thank you guys for that. I love you guys. And who knows? Maybe if we hit 120, I'll do a little something. I don't know, but we'll figure it out when we get to it. So until then, thank you guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you next stream. I'll see you guys next stream.